So it's a very, very simple linear supply chain. And if they ask me, OK, what is the supply chain of coffee, I tell this. However, there is another way of seeing the same supply chain, which is this way. Behind each of the steps, there are people. And there are people who harvest the bean, there are people who dry the bean to remove the shell, people who roast them, et cetera, et cetera. And so there was this beautiful book taken from a TED talk about who do I have to thank every morning when I get my coffee. And I think it was a very, very interesting book. I don't remember the name of the author, but I can send details to you. So these are two different ways of thinking supply chain. This is a sequence of actions that lead to a coffee. And this is a series of people that lead to a coffee. And this is what interests me here. So bear with me for a second. This, again, is the warm supply chain of coffee. I'm sorry, maybe the photos are a little bit small. And then I take these two people who are very much in love or discussing about divorce. I don't know, you cannot tell. Who do they have to thank for that moment that they are enjoying, maybe on a Paris cafe? So they have to thank all those people. Yeah? So that moment would not be possible without all those people, without the warm supply chain of coffee. And this is actually exactly the same at each stage of this supply chain. So if you take the beginning, I mean, if you harvest coffee bean and then nobody drinks coffee, you are very miserable. Right? So you need, if you harvest coffee bean to be happy, you need that everything else happens. And you need all those people that are on your right. And same at any stage of that supply chain. So all those people here are linked. They are socially and economically linked in a process that is called reproduction of coffee, in a supply chain of coffee. So you can say that society creates product and products create society. But then what do we see? What do we see of these societal bonds? How many times do we think about this when we drink our coffee or we do anything else? If I drink my coffee, maybe I say thank you to the barista. Thank you, that was a great coffee. Or if I harvest the bean, I say thank you to those people who are going to buy them because they want to clean them, wash them before selling them back. This I see. And if I'm in the middle, maybe I see two people. I see on the left, I see on the right. People who sell me my intermediate product and people who buys from me after my value added. But everything else is hidden. Everything else is hidden behind supply chain. And of course, the more complex are those supply chain, the more steps there are, and the more hidden it is. But if you think about it, the more complex the supply chain are, the more people are linked in the supply chain for a product. And so the more powerful is the thought of supply chain as a social construct.